What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Prospect Spotlight, where you get a chance to learn more about NFL draft hopefuls. I'm Steph Sanchez, and I'm excited today to be joined by another CGS All-Star standout, Iowa offensive lineman Tyler Elsbury. Tyler, how you doing today, man?
Great. Couldn't be better.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Now, I usually start these interviews with a little rapid fire, just to get us comfortable here. All right. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and the first thing that comes to mind, you just let it out. All right.
All right.
All right. So let's start with PlayStation or Xbox.
Xbox.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning person.
Favorite cheat day meal?
Pizza.
Nice. I like that. Do you have any game day rituals?
Just say a prayer. That's about it.
Love it. If you could jersey swap with any NFL player, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. I would have said Jason Kelsey, but he's retired. Now I'll say George Kittle.
Okay, awesome. I like that. We might have to revisit that one. All right, so let's get into the serious stuff now. So, Tyler, I know you played all 5 years at Iowa. 50 games played, 5 starts. It's not lost on me or others, I'm sure, that you probably could have started a hell of a lot more games had you maybe transferred to another school. So what was the motivating factor for you behind not transferring and wanting to stay at Iowa?
Big factor was relationships. I'd say that was probably number one. With coaching staff, obviously Coach Ferentz is the man. Been there for going on his 27th year. Coach Barnett came in my second year there and kind of, implemented a little bit of a flip of a mindset in the line room. And I thought just like my teammates, I played with guys like Mason Richburn, Connor Colby, Kyler Schott, Tyler Linderbaum, Logan Jones, just a bunch of guys that I really enjoyed being around. So that was kind of the main thing. I thought it would be really, really hard to leave that kind of room, leave that kind of program as well. And then doing so too, I made the choice out of high school, obviously, to commit there, and I thought that was really important that I finished my career there.
I love that. You got to stay loyal, and I mean, it sounds like you built a family over there. So yeah, that's definitely hard to leave. What was there a year at Iowa where you felt like the game started to slow down for you and things started to click?
Yeah, I'd probably say that was my fourth year for sure. Got into the first, my third year I played, rotated in, started a couple games, and honestly, we were really young. I was kind of not ready for it, I'd say. A lot faster than high school and even practices. Obviously, star-studded athletes on the other side of the ball. With any team playing Division I football, and my first year was just really, really hectic. I felt kind of like that a lot. With, my head was spinning a little bit. But when I got that first year under my belt, came into the off season, looking to go into my fourth year there, and that's kind of when the game really, really slowed down for me. I got to watch film of me in there playing and just seeing what I was seeing, and I could reflect back on my time in there and game time experience and how people were moving.
So yeah, tell me a little bit more about your film study process. When you watch yourself, are you kind of a little self-critical a little bit, or what is it in your game that you're honing in on and you're watching closely?
Yeah, I'm really critical. I'm pretty hard on myself. I mean, I think you can ask a lot of players, and they're kind of like that with little technique things and just getting there, making sure they're getting their assignment done. And I was really tough on myself. I know that my coaches kind of were always talking to me about, you can relax a little bit on it. I think it'll help you play better if you're not so tough and you can play free and whatnot. But yeah, big thing. I'd always start with my lower body when I was watching film, watching my feet, watching my hips, making sure I'm not raising out of my stance, making sure my feet are moving really clean. And then from there, I figured if most of my reps, if I had a good lower body, good feet, then the upper body, I was kind of winning the rep. So I'd go to the upper body when I was watching myself, and I Coach Barnett kind of instilled that in us, is like, cut your body in half. Always watch your lower half first, and then go into your upper half. Your hand placement, eyes, and stuff like that. So that way you're piecing together two parts of your game. I mean, obviously they work hand in hand, but most reps, if you have really good lower body, you can kind of get away with a little sloppiness in your upper body. Still pretty critical on that. And then the other thing I really watched was just making sure my assignment was right. I was going to the right guy, and then just finish.
Now, how about when you're game planning for the week and you're watching opponents? Like, what are some things that you pay attention to and you're looking for?
Yeah, usually right away. Start off with just like formational stuff. Looking kind of at our game plan, our formations, the defense that we're expecting them to line up to. I think understanding that out the get go is really important for an offensive lineman. Um, Once you can understand what formation you're going to be in and how they line up to it, everything else is kind of just your technique and how you can execute. You know where their guys are going to be lined up, and they'll throw some wrinkles in there here and there, but most everything else you can kind of do on the fly. So I usually start with that early in the week, and then it went on to watching how their defensive line, what their favorite pass rush move is, how they played the run, were they pretty sloppy, were their eyes kind of all over the place looking for the ball, or were they pretty good at putting their hat on your head and trying to go through you and move you. And then from there, it turned into just watching practice tape and making sure again that I was being really clean in my reps and practice, and that I had our assignments and the looks down pretty good.
Now, I know you've gotten to step in for both Logan Brown and Bo Stevens at different points this past season. Um, and as I was like preparing for this interview, and I was seeing like articles of like other interviews you've done or that your teammates have done. They have nothing but like good things to say about you and your time at Iowa and just like how happy they were for you of getting that opportunity. How does it feel for you to like know that that's how your teammates feel about you and they're so happy for you to get that up?
Yeah, it's awesome because I feel the same way about them. It was mutual like that. We go through all the hard work in the off season, in season. Um, we practice together. I see how they practice. They can watch how I practice, and I think it was just really important too. I talk about relationships a lot because I thought it was really important that if I built good relationships with my teammates, usually that meant I was working hard, they were working hard, we were pushing each other, and we were being competitive. Usually you don't get teammates saying that about people. If they're slacking off and they're not doing the right things.
And given that you've had the opportunity to fill in for a number of your teammates, like you've shown a lot of versatility along the way. Like you got snaps at center and guard. What is like the one skill set that you would say like makes it easy to kind of play those different positions for you kind of seamlessly?
It's honestly just having like a good base of fundamentals. You go from center to guard. The only thing that really switches is snapping the ball. If you get consistent with snapping the ball, you can play all three. I think. Starts with your feet. Like I always say, you gotta have good feet, good hands, and then you just gotta be kind of a football player. When it comes to like football knowledge, I've been always really smart that way. Coach Burnett always would ask me questions, in the film room and stuff like that because he knew I was kind of football smart, and I always was just like, if I know what one guy's doing on the line, I can piece together what every other person's supposed to do. Like it's not. I mean, it was easy to me. I know some guys really struggle with it, and they're not able to do that, and I'm blessed that I am able to do that and that I have that versatility.
Yeah, it definitely isn't easy for everyone. Even going from like left side to right side, I know is challenging for some. So definitely big that you've been able to show that. Now, as far as playing center, you mentioned snapping the ball. Obviously, is a big difference there. But what other responsibilities did you have when you lined up at center?
Yeah, calling out the fronts was a big part of it. Making sure that we were ID'd, working to the right linebackers. Those are kind of the main two that separate center from a lot of other places. Is they're kind of the commander of the line. You have certain calls they have to make when you're up there before the ball snapped and before the cadence start, and you got to make sure guys are going to the right linebacker based on the play that you're running. And sometimes it might be a front side guy, sometimes it might be a safety if he's in the box, or the backside linebacker, and all that's on the center most of the time. I know in our offense before it was on the quarterback, and the center just kind of gave a front call so guys know who they're working to, and then it was based off the quarterback's point and stuff. And I think people are kind of getting away with that more complex offenses get, so the QB can play a little bit more free.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm familiar with. I know the 49ers have their centers like set to protection. So, well, as far as Iowa goes, I know that they pride themselves in having strong run blocking. And so, as far as run schemes, what type of scheme do you think fits your skill set the best?
I'd say the mid to outside zone for sure. I'm pretty fast and athletic. I think getting out and running in space is kind of my best attribute. Being able to run defenders from sideline to sideline. Moving guys that kind of way. This past year, you could really show that. I think probably the best film to watch for that would be my Missouri game and the bowl game. And Caleb Johnson wasn't playing, but we were still rushing kind of all over the field with our mid outside zone stuff. Um, just having that athleticism, I think that's kind of my biggest attribute is to be able to run those outside to mid zone plays.
Love it. Now, I know you also had an opportunity to participate at the CGS All Star. Congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did it feel to get that invite?
Yeah, that was big. It was kind of like weird because they started off kind of as a small school showcase thing, for FCS, Division two, Division three, just to get bigger names out there. And now that a lot of other bowl games are going, and I think they kind of had a dispute about it, whereas you can't do that, separate them. I was really happy to get that. I needed it, to be honest. Like you said, I have 50 game snaps, but not a ton of starts, not a ton of film compared to a lot of guys, and so getting that invite was kind of a big step for me to be able to go down there and play against a bunch of different people from a bunch of different schools who are trying to do the same thing as me.
Well, I know Emery Hunt had you listed as a standout. Then Owen Reese said you didn't lose a lot of or he said you didn't lose a rep of one-on-ones, and he also noted that you took reps at center, guard, and tackle. So you were definitely making the most of that opportunity. So how'd you feel like overall like that week went for you?
Yeah, I thought it went really well for me. One-on-ones, I think there was one rep that was probably borderline win or loss. Other than that, I thought I performed really, really well. Moved left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. Played pretty much all five in one-on-ones, and I did that mainly for my benefit to show that I can do it, move with ease, and then also too just to get as much reps as I could. Like I said, I needed all the exposure I could get, and that was kind of in my head the fastest way to do that is scouts are going to see me move them from spot to spot and winning reps, and I was definitely going to catch some eyes, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm sure teams loved that. Was there anyone throughout that week that you would say like challenged you from a iron sharpens iron standpoint?
Yeah, there was a couple really good D linemen. There was a D tackle from Georgia Southern. He had a pretty good week too, one-on-ones, and then when we went to team run and stuff, he really showcased his skills there. And then there was an edge rusher from Montana, I believe, showed really good speed off the edge and good bend. And I thought those two guys kind of made me work for a win. And I was glad to be able to face them and see them from different schools. And it's different. I don't have any film study on them, so it's really just going out there and it's football.
Yeah, it's skill on skill. I mean, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure the fact that you probably impressed some teams out there, you got a chance to meet with some teams. Have there been any conversations to this point that have stood out to you so far?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest was the Raiders. I felt I talked to them at CGS, got to meet with them for a while, 5-10 minutes. I mean, it was a great conversation, and just asked a lot of basic questions that I feel like a lot of scouts do. When you're kind of flying under the radar, where you're from, what's your skill set, all those types of things. And then he switched to kind of the football aspect of it, and he was like, the thing that stood out to me the most. He was like, prior to yesterday, I really didn't know who you were, but after yesterday, I went and pulled up your film and stuff like that, and I really thought that your skill set really fit with our team, and I'm sure we'll be in touch later. And that kind of stood out to me a little bit with their area scout, and I was just like, wow, that's really good to hear.
Right, that's exactly what you want
exactly.
coming out of that experience. So that's great. And just like overall, like when you've heard from teams, like what's the feedback that you're hearing from them, like in terms of what they like, what they want to see more from you?
Yeah, what they've told me they liked, my athleticism, my size. Obviously playing center, I'd be a bigger center. I'd be 6'5.5", 320, and centers are usually shorter and weigh a little less. So I really like that aspect that I can do that, and then also just moving out to guard and being able to play both guard spots with ease. Kind of as second nature is big on the versatility aspect, and then at CGS I just got a lot of compliments about my tackle sets and how I played out there, and just kind of that I could be that reserve tackle if need be, and add an extra step of versatility. Things I could work on, a little bit of choppy footwork in the run. They said that I kind of do almost a little bit of foot fire in the run. Like to see me have a little bit bigger base and more drive through. They said just a little bit more sticking on blocks on the second level and those type of things. But they thought my feet were pretty good. I could work on my leverage in the pass and my hand placement. They always say that. I feel like they say that to every alignment ever, but it's true. And so there's just little things here and there. And then like I said, most of the scouts are just like, we'll come see you at your pro day and see how you perform.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of your pro day, I'm sure like you're preparing for that right now. When is Iowa's pro day?
March 24th.
March
So
24th. All right, yeah, it's coming up.
Yep.
So what's a typical day of training like looking for you right now?
Yeah, so our typical day, we work out twice a day. So in the mornings we'll come in, do our speed training, a little bit of jumping, working on our broad jump, vertical. And then, we get about 2.5 hours to break. Excuse me, 2.5 hours to break, and then we'll come back in the afternoon. That's when we usually hit our main lifts, right around 1:00 Eastern time here. And depending on the day, Monday, Thursdays are legs, and Tuesday, Fridays are arms. Wednesday, Saturdays are recovery kind of GPP days, and sled drags and stuff like that.
Cool. All right. And are there any like specific goals that you have as far as like testing at your pro day?
Yeah, my 40, I'm hoping to be under 5 seconds. Hoping to be in the 4.9 range. I feel like that'd be huge.
Yeah.
Pro agility, if I'm right around 4.6 or lower, I think that'd be just really good for me as well. Vertical, I'm hoping to have 30 plus inches. Broad jump, I'm trying to get 9 foot or more. So.
And I'm sure with the combine having been last week and tuning into that, does that give you some extra motivation and juice to want to do better than some of those times you saw?
Yeah, absolutely, and it helped a lot too having a teammate be there in the O-line as well. So I know at times I got to beat him.
Nice. And going back to the George Kittle thing, obviously, he's from Iowa, big Iowa guy. And obviously he plays for the 49ers. Just hypothetically speaking, if you were to be drafted by the 49ers, if they picked you up, like, and you got the chance to work with him, obviously he's a great blocker as well. Again, that comes from the Iowa. You guys are such great blockers, but to be able to, play with him, how would that mean, or what would that mean to you to be able to be on the same team as him?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Was obviously a star at Iowa. Great guy. Really, I mean, has such a big personality. I think it'd be cool to be around him, learn from him. Been in the league for a while now and has had great seasons for the 49ers. And just being able to go playing from here with a bunch of Iowa guys and have a guy that's, familiar with the system. It'd be pretty cool to be able to have that relationship of, going through the same stuff, conditioning, summer stuff, just have that kind of connection of being, brothers from Iowa pretty much.
Well, hopefully you do get a chance to do a jersey swap with him at some point. But I did also see in preparing for this interview, I saw in another interview where you said that in the first grade, you were taller than your teacher. So I'm like, how tall were you and how tall was she? Because I was just like,
yeah,
first grade, that's insane.
I was probably like 5'5" or so. I was probably like 5'4", 5'3" ish. Yeah, and she was like 5'2", I think.
Oh my gosh, you'd have been taller than me too.
Yeah, I was.
That's crazy.
I was always pretty big.
That is crazy, but that's awesome. All right, Tyler. I end all my interviews with this question: what is a team? What is a fan base getting both on and off the field with Tyler Elsbury?
Yeah, a team's getting someone that's just versatile. Loves the game of football. Really football smart, and is going to do anything to help the team win. Fan base, sorry, I'm usually pretty quiet. Not the biggest personality, so at least I don't have to worry about me getting in trouble. I'll say that.
That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it. And obviously, best of luck at your pro day and beyond that as well. Definitely going to be rooting for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and appreciate everyone else that tuned in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because there will be plenty more prospect spotlight interviews just like this one. But for now, have a good rest of your Thursday, folks. Peace.